It's Mondays with Mooch. How are you, Steve Mariucci?
I don't know. I just need some self-reflection today, Rich.
Let me see. You know what I mean? It just seems like if they want Chip basically to say, you know what, I'm going to go back and I'm going to think about these schemes and think about all these moves I've done. And, man, it's been disastrous for the first 2 weeks. So, yeah, we might see what we could do something different for the Jets. And he's just like, nope, move on here. Or do you think when he's driving to work or he's just sitting there staring at the ceiling at night, he is thinking about how to change up, maybe from the scheme a little bit, Steve?
You know, I guess I'm talking to Philly fans and ownership and everything like that, because you got to be careful what you wish for. I remember when they changed out my buddy Andy Reid, okay, who runs a tight ship and a West Coast offense, and he's the way he is. And then they wanted this new system, this new college thing that's fast-paced, different, and all that. Well, they got different, and so a couple of years of 10-6 was different and exciting. But Chip's Chip. He's not changing, Rich. He's going to do things his own way, and he's going to live or die with it. He's not going to change like, say, Tom Coughlin did a few years ago and lighten it up. And how about those fans in Philly? You know, they're home opener, and they're booing them in the first half of their home opener.
But Steve, it was terrible. It was beyond terrible. It was all. I mean, Bradford looked like he was not ready for an NFC East battle, and what that means. And it didn't. And DeMarco Murray is running laterally. He's screaming on the sidelines about wanting the football. Guys are dropping the ball. And it was terrible. I mean, It was beyond terrible. We had Terrell Owens here, your buddy, in the last hour, said that there are high school teams that could beat the Eagles based on the elementary offense. And he looked like he was not stuttering, like he was joking, Steve.
Well, T.O. is how did that go? Good?
It was
Huh?
It was great, Steve.
Yeah, I bet it was. I mean, Chip, you know, the first game, they started us slow in the first half, but then the second half, Bradford was 21 of 25, and I'm going, oh, geez, when this kid gets in a rhythm with this system, this fast-paced, kind of deal, he's going to be really good.
But how do you not feed the ball to DeMarco Murray 20 times? Just keep going and figure out.
What are you talking about? They had minus 2 yards rushing for the game with all those. They have the best stable of running backs in the National Football League. You mentioned DeMarco Murray, of course, but Ryan Matthews is not chop liver, and Darren Sproles. They had minus 2 yards total between the three of them.
But Steve, look, I understand. I'm not an X's and O's guy. I'm not a coach, but I mean, how do you not at least figure out a way where you're not running him laterally, left or right, that you are just 1 foot in the ground and go. Just go.
And you're in a one-back set shotgun, okay? Keep that in mind.
Right.
LaShawn McCoy was productive back there, a couple years ago, but that was then and this is now. And DeMarco Murray, I don't know in his career, has been in that kind of an offense. He's an I-back, straight behind with a fullback leading most of the time, and that's how he made his money in Dallas. So he's in a new world, not just a new system. And then you're right, it's lateral most of the time. He had a lot of negative yardage runs. But, boy, you mentioned the frustration. He was yelling at his own players. Yeah. He was yelling at kickers on the other team. He was mad that he was in the wrong uniform. He looked like he needed to take a chill pill.
Steve Mariucci joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. What did you see out of New England in Buffalo, Steve? What do you take away from that performance based on everybody expecting the Bills from week one to knock them off?
That game was hyped big time by everybody, including Rex, right? And
right.
Excuse me, Rich, they had the billboards,
Yeah.
The Brady, Shady, and Deflate this and all of that. And then the club goes one step further, hands out, usually you hand out a terrible towel or pom-poms or cards or something. They hand out air pumps. And so they want people to fill up their footballs and tailgates and all that, so they say. And so they really went all out to make this a huge game, put all their eggs in one basket, okay? And then they went right down the field and scored, and I said, oh, boy, this might be their time. Well, when it's all said and done, Tom is 24-3 against the Bills. Oh, yeah, he threw the ball for 466, his best performance ever against the Bills. Marcel Darius came back, and he's playing against a undrafted rookie center for the Patriots. The Patriots are good, man. I mean, you know what? I don't usually, as a coach, as a former coach, get wowed or overly impressed by a lot of, coaching jobs and what guys are doing, because I kind of understand the ups and downs of it all. But Bill Belichick and his staff, man, they are really, really good.
Yeah,
Rich.
yeah, I know, and they're 2-0 again, and Rex is eating humble pie after a loss to Bill Belichick again, and Belichick never says the word Rex Ryan. He never that doesn't come out of his mouth.
Oh, is that, yeah.
I mean, he just never says the words. Like,
well, he's almost that way with his own. He calls them the players and this and that, and
right.
He's a little different, Rich.
What'd you think of Johnny Manziel? And it's interesting. The offensive coordinator, according to Mike Pett and John DiFilippo, gets in the ears of all the as they're celebrating the touchdown that Johnny threw by pirouetting out of trouble, against the Titans to seal the deal. Apparently, says to all the rest of coaching's overrated because it was an improv play.
What a great comment, and I know John very well. He's great. He's going to be really a fine coach. His dad is Gene DiFilippo, who used to be the AD at Boston College. But John, but that's right. When a player, you've heard the saying, you can't coach that. Well, there's something about that. Sometimes these guys will just do something that's humanly impossible, or you don't drill it or coach it or teach it. It's just a reaction, and they make something happen out of nothing. And we saw Johnny Magic, Johnny Football, Johnny do his thing again. I mean, that's exciting for the Browns. And
so
then Mike Patton,
should the Browns
still won't commit.
Should the Browns just go ahead and just let him do his thing? Just draw up a couple of plays and then just let him go?
You know what? I got to give Johnny Manziel some credit, because he's a little bit of a reboot here. That first year of his was pathetic, right? On and off the field. But he really seems to be straightened out right now. He's saying the right things on his interviews. He's not going crazy. He's staying out of the public eye when he's not playing. He's doing all the right things. Now, he's going to be a shorter quarterback. He's going to be a guy like, can he play like a Russell Wilson and protect himself and then make the sensational scramble play on occasion? Is his arm strong enough? I think so. I think he can do that. Now, the Browns aren't a good team like Seattle, but they're building. I think he's going to sell tickets. I think he might be the right guy for them if he can stay on this straight and narrow path. Steve
Mariucci joining me here Mondays with Mooch. The 0-2 team that you think has the best chance to make the playoffs is our poll question at richeisenshow.com today. And the choices, you want to read the choices to him, Brockman, please?
Yeah, Mooch.
Read me the choices.
Eagles, Giants, Ravens, Saints, Seahawks.
Which 0-2 team has the best chance to make the playoffs? You vote for?
Well, come on. This should be 100% unanimous for the Seahawks, right?
Well, I mean,
make the playoffs?
I don't know. I mean, you got I like it. The Eagles and the Giants are now in a division where the division leader is without their Pro Bowl quarterback and wide receiver and running back. You want to throw DeMarco?
I know, but you know what? Dallas. Oh my God, that city must be in the tank today. And you lost with injuries your two great players, and then you lost with a you just let him go. He's playing with the opponent over there, DeMarco Murray. But I think they get a little bit lucky in that their division is down. Let's face it. That NFC East used to be the NFC Beast. Remember, it's not that way now. The Eagles look like I don't know who they are. And then Washington, to me, that was an upset. Against the Rams. They're just a very average team, and the Giants are. 0-2. Now Tom Coughlin has taken an 0-2 team and won a Super Bowl in 2007, but I don't know if they're built that way now. They need to get JPP back, and I don't know if that's going to happen.
So let's flip side it. Which 0-2 team concerns you the most? That's 0-2.
Did you mention the Saints?
They were part of the poll, but
they concern me, and I'm worried about Drew Brees' team, because Drew is a great quarterback that's playing on a very, very subpar team right now. And they had some injuries too in the secondary. Jarius Byrd and Keenan Lewis didn't play, but they got beat by Tampa at home, and that's the mystique of the Superdome. They've lost 6 in a row over there. So all of a sudden, people are going in there and going, "Fine, let's just go beat these guys." I'm worried about the Saints.
So let's finish up with Mondays with Mooch with what makes Mooch most mad. We sort of did that a little bit. The Game Day Morning gave you an option of your emojis to be happy, sad, or mad. We just stick with mad. I don't know if that says anything about the way we view the glass if it's half empty.
It makes me mad.
What makes Mooch most mad, Steve?
And I saw it. twice this weekend, once in college and once in the pros.
Okay.
Drives me nuts, Rich, when the fans leave early, okay? Here, for example, I'm watching college football. Alabama, Crimson Tide, Roll Tide, right? They've won 17 games in a row at home, right? I don't know if it's a record or what. Probably not. I think Michael Irvin's team won 58 or something. But they're getting beat by Ole Miss. And the fans are pouring out of that stadium like a waterfall. They showed us, like, wow, where's everybody going? And then Alabama came back and made it a one-possession game. And you know what? I hope they lock the gates and don't let those people back in.
They don't. I don't think they do.
And then you saw it with the Bills, too. And the Bills hyped this game like crazy. And they had it rolling, and they left. Its score was 31-14. I get it; it doesn't look good, but you know what? They scored 21 answered points without a lot of fans in the stadium, and it drives me nuts that people pay all that money and plan that full day just to beat the traffic?
Yeah.
What? Stick around, will you?
Do you ever scream it? Do you ever do that when you're standing on the sidelines coaching? Just turn around and say,
"Yeah." They used to leave early at the Detroit Lions games. I'd look around. I go, "Where's everybody going?" They're going home to watch the next game, and so hey, that's just how it is sometimes, But fans, to me, they pay a lot of money, and they plan the day. Just stick around and be a true fan and cheer your team on to the bitter end.
Hashtag WMMMM. What makes Mooch most mad?
Most mad.
Don't forget the hashtag when you're tweeting about that, because we like things to go viral.
Yep.
And you know about going viral, Steve. You know that. That's Steve Mariucci.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
Do you handle your own? I know you do you handle your own Instagram, or who does that? Your daughter, your son? Who handles your stuff, Steve? Do you do it yourself? Because I know you're not sitting there tweeting. Are you sitting there tweeting?
I tweet a little bit, Rich. You better start following me, too.
I do.
His wife likes all of our photos from the Rich Eisen show.
I tweeted out the picture of you and I.
Yes.
Before our first season together 10 years ago at the Pantheon, for crying out loud.
That's true. We ran
and
into
I was
each other
looking for a retweet from Rich Eisen.
Here's my favorite, Steve. Here's my favorite story of the weekend with you. Maybe we'll do this every Mondays with Mooch. Sit next to you on game day morning. There's that piece Andrew Kramer's doing on Carson Palmer. So moving about his comeback. It's so moving. And we're seeing him work out, doing all of these sit-ups, push-ups, all this stuff. And you sit there, you don't say a word. I'm sitting right next to you. You're to my left, I'm to your right. You don't say a word, just watching this piece of Carson working out in his mid-30s, doing what he needs to do to get back. And then he says, you know what, there was a part with my diet where I had a carb only once a week for an entire month. And that's when you go, oh my gosh, I couldn't do that. That's when you finally open your mouth.
I'd rather have a sore knee. There's no way I'm going to, hey, I got to have carbs. I'm going to have carbs today as soon as I hang up.
All right, Steve, take care of yourself.
All right, Rich.
You got it. That's Mondays with Mooch right there.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.